Good morning. Thank you for joining us for today's Zoom session. My name is Jeff Schaff, and I'm the Director of Talent Strategy at the Toledo Regional Chamber of Commerce. This week, the Toledo Chamber is partnering with innovative business and community leaders from across the region to provide valuable tools and resources to help you attract, retain, and develop your workforce. Today's topic is what is a micro-internship and how can your company utilize them? Internships are great, but traditional programs are limited by the number of opportunities they can offer and the talent they can attract. Micro-internships are scalable, easy to implement, and create a pathway into your existing programs. From on-demand project support to industry-leading diversity recruitment initiatives, micro-internships help your team identify, engage, and assess college students and recent grads nationwide. This is the fourth session in our Talent Resource Week. We're excited for today's session, and I'd like to recognize some of our sponsors with whom this would not be possible. Our gold sponsor is Buckeye Broadband. Our silver sponsor is Associated General Contractors of Northwest Ohio. And our bronze sponsor is Lucas County Department of Planning and Development. Before we get started, a little Zoom housekeeping. If you have video capability, we'd love to see your smiling face this morning, but we do ask that you keep yourself on mute. That's the button in the lower left-hand corner. If you have a question, feel free to type it into the chat box that you can find in the toolbar at the bottom as well. There's a chance that our presentation will answer one of the questions that you have. So if you type it into the chat box and you don't get an answer right away, just know that it might be answered later on, and we will open up for questions at the very end. If you are currently not in speaker view is a great way to ensure that you're going to see the presenter when they're speaking. It also allows you to toggle back and forth between the gallery view if you want to see everyone else. Gallery view is kind of like that Brady Bunch setup where you get to see all of us and we can all wave at each other back and forth. If you have any problems with the Zoom system during this presentation, feel free to reach out to either myself or Julie Sanderson via the chat feature or via our email addresses. And last on Zoom, as we have presentations up today, you can slide back and forth so that you can see more of the presentation. I'm going to stop sharing here shortly so that our presenter can do his part. But I want to introduce our presenter for today, Jeffrey Moss, the founder and CEO of Parker Dewey, a company focused on addressing the challenges associated with college to career transitions through micro-internships. Prior to founding Parker Dewey, Jeffrey spent most of his career as a venture investor focusing on the education and technology sectors. In addition, he was chief of enterprise growth at Educational Testing Service, where his efforts focused on the use of assessment to drive equity in education and employment. Jeffrey currently serves on the Indiana University Kelley School of Business Alumni Board, the Purdue University College of Liberal Arts Dean's Advisory Council, and the President's Advisory Council of Governors State University. Please welcome Jeffrey Moss.
You made me sound so much more impressive than I actually am. Thanks, my mom would be proud. Good to meet everyone here. As was said before, please use the chat function. I'll try to pay attention to the chat while we're presenting. I'm usually pretty decent at multitasking, the beauty of ADD. Anyway, real pleasure to be here today and talk with you a little bit about micro-internships and what they are. Again, if you have questions along the way, hopefully we'll be able to address them all throughout the presentation. If not, we'll certainly get to them at the end. So about Parker Dewey real quickly, as Jeff said, Parker Dewey is a mission-oriented organization that's been around about 6 years. We are 100% focused on improving the transition from college to career. And the way we do it is we've created this concept of the micro-internship. So just to set the stage, some people have heard of micro-internships, some have not. The way we've defined it and we think about it is short-term paid professional projects that are completed by college students or recent grads on behalf of busy professionals at companies. And to unpack that a bit, short term. Short term means a project that would take a college student anywhere from, say, 10 to 40 hours to complete and do a few days to a few weeks out. So these are projects that you need done next week, 2 weeks from now, not projects that would be nice to have over winter break or next summer. These are immediate needs. So again, the types of projects we do are applicable to any size company ranging from one person startup to Fortune 100 across any department and really for any professional. And the best way we think about it are the we shoulds and the I shouldn'ts. So think about all of those tasks on your desk that you say, we should really go write an article on a given topic, or we should go do a competitive analysis, or we should update our CRM, but who has time for it? Again, we're all overwhelmed. Or the I shouldn'ts. I shouldn't be the one doing a first draft of this article. I shouldn't be the one figuring out how to do a social media strategy. It's not the highest and best use of our time as busy professionals. Well, again, fortunately, there's millions of college students who are excited to help on these short-term professional projects. These are also paid, and that's important. The average micro-internship is about $400. Typically, we see the range being 200 to 600. You as the employer, an employer I'll use in quotes, and I'll talk more about that in a second. You as the employer set the price for each one of these projects. There's no negotiation, there's no back and forth. You set the fixed fee. And the student who works on the project, the student who you select gets 90% of that. So again, we're trying to make it easy for you and for the student. These projects are available year-round. Pre-COVID, about 98 or 99% of them were remote. Obviously, in the COVID world, it's about 100% remote. Because again, what we found is the vast majority of these projects, a student or recent grad can work on from his or her dorm room or apartment or library, and you don't need to necessarily have them in the office to do these analysis. You don't have to worry about where are they going to sit, or we need to get ID badges, et cetera, et cetera. And again, we'll dig more into all of these things as we go through. So who are the micro interns? We have the largest network of domestic college students from across the US. We have partnerships with over 400 colleges and universities, including locally for you, the University of Toledo, and students from, again, every college and university across the US. Why this matters is it allows you as companies to not just get the work done, but also to recruit, or I'm sorry, also to build your recruiting funnel. So these projects are a great way to get to know a student who may be originally from Toledo and wants to return home after college, but attends school in Indiana or California or Boston or New York or anywhere else. Here's a great way to engage those students and show them the career opportunities that are available to them down the road, again, especially if they want to return home. So the types of projects, I alluded to them before. The projects are applicable across every department. And we have some examples. Again, lead generation. We need help, and sorry, it's a little tough to see. If you go to the website at the bottom, we've actually identified about 12 of the most popular projects that we think would be relevant for you. And again, we'll share the presentation, the website after the presentation. But things like lead generation. We're trying to find companies or prospects that fit certain criteria. Wouldn't it be great if we could have a college student do some of that heavy lifting? Or we want to update our blog on our website and need someone to research and draft an 800-word article on a topic. Or we need someone to, again, go through our CRM or our database to make sure we still have the right prospects. Again, all of these types of projects are perfect examples. Website design. We need someone to update our website. We need someone to create a new website for us. We need someone to explore what our competitors are doing. All of these short-term we should and I shouldn't projects are perfect. So what are the benefits to your team? Thanks, Jeff, for sharing the link. What are the benefits to your team? As I alluded to before, again, the immediate support. These projects provide on-demand support. And what's great is the students are doing it, even though they get paid, it's not about the money. They're doing it because they want the experience. They're doing it to prove themselves to you, to build their network, to get their foot in their door. which means that when you're getting this immediate support, you're also getting better outcomes because of the inherent motivation of the students. It's also supporting your hiring processes. Again, while there's no obligation or assumption that this will lead to a traditional summer internship or full-time role, what it does is it gives you the optionality around it. It lets you engage and assess prospective candidates for those roles, especially if they may not have thought about your company or your organization. Again, think about the students that think that they have to go to McKinsey or Bain or BCG to do interesting strategy work. Well, you can show them the importance of developing strategy as a small or emerging business. Or the student that thinks they have to go work at a PR or large marketing firm to do interesting social media, or thinks they have to go out west to a startup in Silicon Valley to do innovative technology. Again, your companies are all doing those things. Here's a great way to engage those students, and again, mutually assess fit at the beginning of the process. So with that as a backdrop, how does this all work? Well, we tried to make it as easy as possible. So your role, and we'll walk through again all of these steps in a bit more detail, your role is to basically post the project, select the students, you decide how you want to engage with them, and that's it. Again, we're trying to take work off your plate, not give you more work. Our role is to make sure great students are applying for your project. We can help you select the students if you want, and then we handle all of the behind the scenes. So for the duration of each one of these micro-internships, the students are not your employees, they're not your contractors, your temps, your freelancers, or anything else. They work for us. They're our employees or contractors. So from your perspective, it's the same as if you went into Kinko's. They're on our books. What that means is, again, there's no 1099s or W-2s. What it also means is, because of our mission, if you really like the student who worked on the project for you and you decide, hey, we want to do more with this student, or we want to hire him or her directly for an internship or full-time role or anything else, great. Go ahead. There's no other fees or costs. Literally, the only cost to you is what you set as the price for each of these micro-internships. So again, let's go through in a bit more detail. How do you post a project? Well, there's 3 ways of doing it. You can either post it completely from scratch. So again, I have this need, let me go define it. You can use our one-click templates, and then we've actually designed a customized library through our partnership with the Toledo Chamber with projects pre-scoped for you. So how do you think about identifying projects? Again, you can think about those we shoulds or I shouldn'ts. You can also think about the job descriptions you may have for open full-time roles. So we need someone to help with B2B sales. What are some of the specific responsibilities? Well, conducting competitive research, or developing sales content like a PowerPoint, or identifying key prospects, or evaluating how well a sales campaign went. These are all specific responsibilities that came from this entry-level B2B role of a company. That's one way to do it. You can, as I mentioned, also you create custom projects. It's really easy. What is the project? When do you need it done? How much will you pay? Really simple. We also have templates predefined with some of the most popular projects categorized by department. And again, sorry, these are a little hard to see on the screen, but let's get to the more interesting aspect. These featured projects. These are 12 of the most popular common projects that we think are applicable to every company. Sourcing candidates. Are you trying to find candidates for full-time roles? In-depth prospect research, market research, data cleansing. Each one of these projects can be posted with a single click. By visiting this site and creating an account, you can click any of these projects and they get posted for you. So what happens then? The students see the project that's posted. They'll see the start date and the due date. They'll see about how many hours it will take. They'll see how much they will be paid. So in this case, Wayne Enterprises set the price as $300. As I mentioned before, Parker Dewey retains 10% of that, so the student sees it netted out. This way, there's no surprises. So when you post a project for $300, that's what you pay when the project's done. When the student sees that project listed at $270, that is what the student receives. There's, again, no surprises, no transaction fees, nothing else. We're trying to make this easy. So this is what the student sees. What we're also able to do is make sure that through our engagement, whether it's with schools like University of Toledo or nonprofit organizations, we're engaging the students that you're most interested in. So here's a way to, again, deepen those relationships with focus schools, if you have them, or more interestingly, expand beyond the local colleges to get to know great Toledo students who may be at university elsewhere. Once the project is posted, students apply. Again, every student profile that you see has self-selected in. They have proactively said, yes, I am interested in working on this project. They also have answered the short answer questions that you ask. Every project has at least one question, which is, why do you think you'll be a good fit? The reason we do that is, first of all, it makes sure students aren't clicking through everything. It gives them a little bit of skin in the game. But the second thing we found is it becomes the most effective way for you to assess the student. We've all seen people with amazing resumes where when it gets to the interview, or worse, when they start the job, you realize the fit's not there. Their attention to detail is lacking. Their communication skills are subpar. Erica, I see you smiling on this. Again, we've all been there. What we found is these short answer questions are the best way to weed it out. So someone like Legend, who has a really thoughtful answer, versus, again, I just pulled a couple of examples. Having graduated from an Ivy League institution, I've developed a keen sense and understanding on thoroughly refined research as well as data. And like, that is a bad answer. Beyond the fact it's a grammatical nightmare, does the student really want to work on this project? Does he, in this case it was a he, does he really sort of have interest? So it might have a gold-plated resume from a fancy Ivy League institution, but how well is he going to do on it versus Legend or versus any one of the other students? So again, we found these answers become a really easy way to select. And because the projects are so short-term and quote unquote low risk for you as companies, you're not going through interviews, you're not doing any of the normal process. This is very much almost top of funnel, if you will, as you think about it from a recruiting perspective. And this is probably one of the slides I'm most proud of. I mean, this is driving real sustainable impact for students and for companies. It's a great example of a win-win. So for you as a company, you're getting this immediate support from a highly motivated college student, and you're identifying someone who you may want to recruit for a longer term role, but you're also providing an opportunity. You're also giving back. And it's not charity, but you're providing an authentic, real opportunity for a college student. And for these students, again, it lets them get in the door. It lets them demonstrate skills. It lets them showcase their competencies beyond what their major or GPA was, which is so important, especially as we think about diversity, equity, and inclusion in this environment. So we're seeing, again, real impact in a sustainable way. So with that, what now? Well, again, what are those we should projects you have? What are those I shouldn't projects that you're going to spend this weekend doing that aren't the best use of your time? Well, go post them. You can visit the site. It's live. It takes about 3 minutes to create an account. We just need some basic information from you so we know who you are. Or you can fill out the form on the top and we'll even help. And these are some of the real projects. But again, if you have other ideas or other questions for projects, we have a much longer project library at that template site. And again, we have an entire client success team that's happy to help. So with that, I'm going to stop talking and see if anyone has questions, feedback, or if there's stuff I missed.
Feel free to put your questions into the chat or go ahead and even ask live. I'll kick it off. Jeffrey, is this limited to traditional students, or I see that there was something in there for someone who's post-grad that maybe hasn't found a new opportunity yet?
Yeah, so we use the term we use the term career launcher. And career launcher includes college students, graduate students, and recent college graduates. And again, could be other post-secondary programs. We've worked with boot camps. We've obviously worked with the community colleges and other programs, but we're very, very focused on this transition point from post-secondary education to the quote unquote real world. Because again, with 47% of recent college grads under or unemployed, there's a huge opportunity there. So again, as you think about your own businesses, maybe you have these immediate projects, but maybe you have open full-time roles that you're struggling to fill. This is a great way to fill those roles. Maybe you're not sure about a role. Maybe you're having internal discussions about, do we want to add someone to the marketing team? Well, as we showed, I think in one of the prior slides, we're seeing companies use these micro-internships for that reason. We're not sure we need someone on the marketing team. We're not sure if there'll be a return on that investment. Great, let's have a college student help us with a marketing project, or a recent grad help us with a marketing project. One, we'll get that support, but two, we can actually see, is there a return from that? Is there a benefit? And potentially leading to the creation of new roles.
Like, how do college students find out about these opportunities? Through their college?
Yeah, it's a great question because we actually don't do any marketing to the college students. None, zero. And we like that because what it means is that every student on the platform, every one of the millions of students have self-selected in. They have proactively raised their hand and said, I want to be here. They have filled out. So again, we ask them for their LinkedIn and their resume, but when you see the student profiles, it is still up to them to type in their school and their major and their prior work experience. Because again, as far as we're concerned, that's a signal. That is a signal that they have the desire and the grit versus again, the student who doesn't fill out their profile or their profile's riddled with typos. Now we do have partnerships, as I alluded to before, with 400 plus colleges and universities across the US. They do let students know it's out there. Students hear about it a lot from other students or other articles. So we're seeing this be a very exclusive group, but not exclusive in a negative way. Exclusive in a positive. Exclusive in that the students self-select and they get selected irrespective of where they go to university. The data shows that the student from Harvard is not any more likely to get picked than the student from a less academically selective school. The student with a higher GPA is not any more likely to get picked than the student with a lower GPA. We're really seeing companies using this to level the playing field. That was a
Jeffrey,
great
I know
question,
that you
Mary.
and I had the conversation before we started of how many students you have in the database. And I was astounded by the number that you have.
It's a big number. And look, this is not some newfangled thing that we created because of COVID. This is not some jury-rigged selection or platform to, again, overcome the challenges of the current situation. This is something we've been doing for 5 or 6 years and has been proven and works. And what we found is obviously in this current environment, it's especially applicable. As college students are struggling to get those first jobs, as companies are struggling to engage college students as they think about campus recruiting without being on campus, we're finding what we do just especially relevant. Which again, Jeff, goes back to your point of why there are so many students. And the other thing we're seeing a lot is, again, in geographies that are not Boston, New York, San Francisco, or Chicago, it's a great way to, again, as I alluded to before, invite those students back home. Let them know that there's great opportunities in Toledo that they may not be thinking about. It's also a great way for companies that may not have the brand recognition of an Amazon or of a Goldman Sachs to engage students and show them the great opportunities available. In fact, Pepsi talked about that challenge. Pepsi talked about a branding challenge, which baffled me. The head of HR is like, what are you talking about? Everyone knows Pepsi. And her response was, yeah, they know about us as a soda company. Or for those of you in the Midwest, pop. They know about us as a soda company. They don't think about a sales role with us. They don't think about us for marketing or technology or finance roles. We need to get in front of them to show them that if you're interested in strategy, again, you don't have to go to a big firm. You can come work at Pepsi. If you're interested in finance, you don't have to go be an investment banker. You can come work for Pepsi. If you're interested in accounting, you don't have to work for one of the big 4, 3, or however many accounting firms are left. Again, here's roles. How do you engage those students? So again, it's just been really, really interesting to watch. It truly levels the playing field for both sides.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And it's kind of interesting. We hear from students quite often that are athletes that they don't or they can't take advantage of some of the opportunities that a normal internship might offer because of practice and class schedule. So this would be great for those students. And then we hear a lot from some of our small or medium-sized business members that maybe they don't have enough work for an entire summer or for a full fall or spring semester. So this is great that they can take advantage of it from a project base.
You are throwing me all these softballs to keep your student athlete segue. Yeah, I mean, we've seen a ton taking place with student athletes, both with the schools directly for the reasons that you said. Another thing we see a lot with student athletes is their GPA might fall below some threshold or be lower than their peer who's not a student athlete, and they're getting filtered out because the employer's not, quote unquote, giving credit for the fact that the student athlete was essentially working a full-time job while attending class. So having a 3.4 as a student athlete, I'd argue, is certainly better than a 3.6 or a 3.7 for a student that didn't have any extracurricular activities. And meanwhile, student athletes have all of these core skills that employers are looking for: the grit, the teamwork, the self-discipline, the community. Like, here's a way to engage those students. And actually, we have a great partnership with an organization called Winning Edge, which Winning Edge is 100% focused on supporting diverse student athletes across every university. And one of the things we're doing with Winning Edge is, again, creating these micro-internship opportunities for these diverse student athletes to get real pathways into companies and to help companies access these student athletes, again, who have all of these skills they're looking for. No other questions? Did I do that good of a job?
I think
Thanks,
so.
guys.
I feel like it's one of those things that once you get into it, you'll probably have questions about how to do something. So I'm assuming, Jeffrey, that there's a easy user interface, and that if someone does have questions, that they can reach out through the website to get some help with what they're trying to accomplish.
100%. So mention we have this page for y'all. If you fill this out, we'll follow up immediately. Even if you just fill it out and say, hey, I have an idea around a marketing project, can you help? Or I need a blog written and I'm not sure if the blog article in here is perfectly aligned, can you help? We have an entire client success team that spends 100% of their time working with companies on those types of things. And as I said, there's also this, which I will include in the chat. I can multitask. This is a project library that we have, which is probably 80% I'm sorry, it's probably about 50 projects, which represent about 80% of the projects on the platform. So if you're in marketing, you probably need content created. You probably need market research. You probably need case studies or collateral. These are all based upon best practices that we've seen over the past 5 years that can be posted with a single click. And again, these are just a small sampling. The 80-20 rule sort of kicks in. So if you have other project ideas that you don't see in here, if you just email us, again, we're happy to help, or you can post it directly. And again, whenever we see a project from a new company, we dig in a little bit more to make sure that everything is perfect.
Great. Any more questions from anyone who is on the call? No, I think we've covered everything. I want to say thank you again, Jeffrey, for taking the time out today. I know that your schedule is super busy. We are going to make sure that all of the information that you provided today gets sent out to everybody who's on the call, and we'll also include that in our newsletter next week. I want to say thank you again to our sponsors, Buckeye Broadband, the Associated General Contractors of Northwest Ohio, the Lucas County Department of Planning and Development. And we have one session left for this afternoon, employee resource group. So we hope to see everyone there. Again, thank you very much, Jeffrey. And thanks to Parker Dewey for helping us out with this.
My pleasure. And then what I will also do, Jeff, is I will send you one other PDF that, again, for the folks on the call, walk through ways to socialize this with your colleagues. So while you may have some of these projects yourself, you may also have colleagues at your organizations that could use some of this on-demand help. So again, I'll share that as well. But thanks so much, everyone. Thanks for the great questions. And please let me know if you have anything else or if there's other ways I can be of help.
Awesome. Thanks again. Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.